What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now today, we're going to be discussing some Battlefield 2042 news. Now just recently, a couple of developers went on to an interview, and they actually released some information that I think a lot of you guys might be interested in. And that is, in Battlefield 2042, there's going to be a ton of remasters, or basically fan favorite maps, coming into the game. Now, personally, it's not too big of a surprise, because we've seen this happen in the past on multiple occasions, but at the end of the day, it's nothing bad. This is great news. You know, you can't go wrong with some fan favorite classics. But I am a tad bit concerned, because compared to the past, you have to remember, a lot of the stuff that happened were all paid DLC. That was the way of getting your map packs. But gaming has pretty much evolved now, and we have moved over to more of a live service model, including a battle pass and also free maps and free content for the whole community to enjoy. But because of this new service model, I don't know how EA, specifically, and this is out of EA DICE's hands. You know, the developers of Battlefield 2042 can't really control anything about this. This is all to the publisher, EA, and as we all know, EA is as scummy as they come. Just as bad, if not worse, than Activision, who is the publisher of Call of Duty. But I'm not sure how EA is going to handle any of the stuff going on with the live service model. I'm going to use Battlefield 5 for example because that's the most recent Battlefield game that we have possibly seen. I can't really go off of games like Battlefield 4 that you're watching here because the game is ancient, and like I said back in the day, this ran off of paid DLC. But in Battlefield 5, all I remember is being neglected for months with no content. And then, the first map they gave us wasn't even an equal map for all players. They strictly put out a map for vehicle players. You know, you would think, after months of nothing, you know, people begging for content, because let's be honest here, the game didn't really release with that many maps, and again, for a World War II shooter, it had no factions, barely any of the weaponry. It was just lacking so much content to make it a good World War II shooter, and, you know, like I said, it flopped because of that exact reason, but we waited months for content, and instead of adding in a map that everybody can enjoy, tank players, plane players, infantry, they went ahead and strictly added in a map just for tank players and plane players. That's basically what they did. And we were all insulted. It was a ridiculous move, and even though it wasn't that bad, it's still a map, you know? We still had something different to play. It just shows the direction that EA was going in. They clearly did not know what their fan base wanted. They clearly did not know how to handle the game, and because of this, Battlefield 5 flopped. But to be honest with you guys, that's honestly not my biggest concern when it comes to Battlefield 2042. I do understand that the lack of maps could be a problem. But do I see EA following the same path that Battlefield 5 did? No. Like, Battlefield 5 made them absolutely no money. You know, it pretty much lost a lot of faith in their community. So I don't think EA is going to copy anything or mimic any of the strategies that they did for Battlefield 5. Obviously, they'll keep little things that they did good in the game, like the movement and stuff like that. But when it comes down to the core business model of the game, how they handled the microtransactions and also the maps, it was awful. It's the worst experience ever. So they're not going to copy that. I feel like they're going to have more content and a better, smoother system when it comes to a live service model. But my main issue is, are they going to follow the Call of Duty path, where instead of putting more effort into designing actual new maps, they half-ass it and remaster over half of the old school maps to put in quote-unquote content? To me personally, and a lot of other people in the Call of Duty community, that is one of the biggest issues when it comes to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War currently. Almost every single season, or every single new update, the new content they add into the game is either not 6v6 maps, you know, it's relating to other game modes, or when it is relating to 6v6, it's all remastered content. Now, is that completely bad? No, because at least the remastered content is reliable. We know that the maps in the past we all enjoy. But my problem is that it lacks creativity. When it comes to a brand new game, we don't see any brand new content. And the brand new content that we do see typically is pretty bad. I mean, all the base maps from Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War, I hate them all. DLC is where it's at for me, and it's sad too because the DLC maps that they put out in Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War were actually good. You know, the homemade created maps from the developers, not remastered, the actual home-styled maps, they were actually really fun. So my question is, why can't the developers start off that way? Why is it that all the base maps in the games are usually complete buns, but then afterwards they start releasing the better content? But I guess I'm kind of getting sidetracked here. The point that I'm trying to make here is that they shouldn't have to rely off of old school styled remastered maps to make sure their game is successful. I mean, why do you think they're remastering these maps? Why do you think they're putting in these old school bangers back into Black Ops Cold War? Because they were amazing in their prime. You know, back in the day, back in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, Call of Duty 4, World at War, a lot of these games, they couldn't remaster any maps because there was barely any maps to remaster. Call of Duty was in its very early state, and yes, they did have a few maps to remaster, but it wasn't, a boatload like it is now, current day. So the developers couldn't rely off of remasters to make sure their game is good. They were forced to design good maps. And because of this, we see all these maps returning current day with current Call of Duty games because they were that good and fun. But this is where my concern comes for Battlefield 2042. Like I just said, Black Ops Cold War relies more off of remastered maps than their own masterpieces. And that is just a call for laziness, and it's proof that the game is just not ready. It wasn't ready to be launched, and clearly the only way that they could keep it alive and afloat is to remaster all the old schools, because that's all they're putting out. I mean, out of all the 6v6 maps, there's usually 2 remasters and 1 original. Like, you can clearly tell it's a very big lack of creativity when it comes to this game. But Battlefield 2042, they're kind of hyping up the return of a lot of these remastered maps. Again, not bad news. I'm a big fan of this, and I'm really excited to see what they're actually going to bring back into Battlefield 2042, especially with a massive player count of 120 plus players on some of these old school maps. These battles are literally going to be insane. But my concern is, what if they're only going to release a certain amount of base maps, and then afterwards it's going to run into the same situation as Black Ops Cold War and more current day Call of Duty games, where they're not going to put in anything original into the game anymore. All the months later, since, they're going to be working on other things with the game, apparently, I'm assuming, and it's going to be a lot of bugs and glitches. I mean, let's be honest here. It's a Battlefield game at launch. Anybody who thinks this game is going to launch in good condition is out of their mind. It's going to be the buggiest, glitchiest mess in the world. So it's going to take months to polish this game off and make sure it's actually playable. So with all these things coming into consideration, are they going to have enough time to actually design enough original maps? Or are they going to run it into the Black Ops Cold War formula, where they go ahead and just bring back all these remasters instead of working on originals? So 5, 6, 7 months from now, instead of seeing 10 plus new original maps added into the game, we'll see like 8 remasters and 2 originals. Which, again, not bad, but coming out of a brand new game, I do enjoy remasters. I want to make this clear. I know people are going to be coming at me in the comment section saying, what do you have against remastered maps? I don't have anything against remastered maps. I love them. My problem is when a brand new game comes out, Battlefield 2042, which is supposed to be near futuristic, we should be having new areas, new maps, new everything, but instead of making new everything, they rely on the old school stuff to make sure the game is playable, fun, unique, and still keeps people interested in coming back over time. But I do want to go ahead and show you guys this tweet right here, because it actually does give EA Dice a little space when it comes to remastering a lot of maps with Battlefield 2042. If you guys don't know yet, Battlefield 2042, a singular map in this game takes about 6 to 12 months to design. Now, this is very understandable because the game is going to be holding 120 plus players, and let's be honest here, if a map takes 6 to 12 months to design for that many players, this is going to be insane. Probably the largest battles we have ever seen in gaming history. I mean, you think Battle Royales are top dogs when it comes to large maps. Just wait until Battlefield 2042 drops. It's probably going to change your whole opinion. But seeing that it takes about 6 to 12 months to design a single map, oh man, I mean, with that being said, I am a little bit more understandable with them adding in a lot of remasters, because if it takes that long to design an original, as long as those originals are good and they're not bad maps, then I'm okay with that. But I still don't want it to be a remaster galore. I'm hoping that the developers worked very hard, and they had multiple teams working on map designs. They had multiple years to work on this game. They have pulled multiple development teams off of their own games like Need for Speed and multiple other games. All the developers left their own titles to come work on Battlefield 2042. I hope that they put their resources in the correct spot, and I hope that they prepped enough maps to come for a live service model, so we're not sitting here being drip-fed content every 2, 3, 4 months, and the majority of the content that we even get is just remasters. But guys, do me a massive favor and go down into the comment section and leave your opinions down below. Do you guys think it's a good or bad thing that there's going to be remasters coming into this game? Like I said, I think it's a good thing. I think it's great that we're going to see a bunch of old school maps making a return into Battlefield 2042 with with a massive player count on them. I wonder if they're going to expand on the maps too. Like, imagine Siege of Shanghai expanded, you know, much larger. You can actually branch out to like across the water to the other cities and stuff. That would actually be insane to see. So guys, leave your opinions down below. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like button. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Also, if you want to chat with me, there's two ways to do so. I have a Twitter and a Discord. Both those links are down in the description. And also, if you want to catch me live stream some video games, I do it over on Twitch. Link to that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.